Today on General Hospital, Felicia finds a new calling, Marshall puts Ms. Wu on notice, and Dex delivers a message. In Ferncliff, Gladys comes to visit Sasha, who is rocking back and forth on her bed. Gladys asks Nurse Janice what is going on. Janice says she's going through withdrawal, and someone has been slipping her drugs. Gladys talks to Sasha and gets her to recognize her. Sasha doesn't understand why this is happening, says everything hurts, and she asks if Brando is coming. Gladys reminds her they lost Brando. Sasha keeps crying that she needs Brando, and everything hurts. In Ferncliff, Gladys comes to visit Sasha, who is rocking back and forth on her bed. Gladys asks Nurse Janice what is going on. Janice says she's going through withdrawal, and someone has been slipping her drugs. Gladys talks to Sasha and gets her to recognize her. Sasha doesn't understand why this is happening, says everything hurts, and she asks if Brando is coming. Gladys reminds her they lost Brando. Sasha keeps crying that she needs Brando, and everything hurts. Gladys leaves, and Dr. Montague tells Sasha he does sympathize with her. Sasha wonders where Gladys is, where she went. Dr. Montague says she went to save her, and for her sake, Gladys better come through. At the hospital, Stella runs into Nurse Dione and reveals she's sticking around Port Charles for the time being to help her family. Stella then meets with a young woman whose mother was brought in and put on a ventilator. She asks if she can call anyone for her. Felicia watches from afar, and the young girl tells Stella that she only has her mom. Stella explains her job is to help her understand what is happening with her mom. Meanwhile, Dione tells Felicia how great Stella is as a patient advocate. Later, Stella fills the young girl in that her mother has a lung infection, which has caused it to collapse, but she's expected to make a full recovery. The girl cries and thanks Stella, and they hug. A nurse soon arrives to take the girl to see her mom. Felicia approaches Stella and asks her about her job. Stella explains she's a social worker, and here she's a patient advocate. Felicia thinks it sounds like a rewarding job. Stella says it can be, but not all patients get better. Felicia asks if she has to be a social worker to be a patient advocate. Stella says she doesn't, and Felicia admits she's looking into a career change. Stella says being a patient advocate can be challenging, but rewarding. Anna arrives at Sonny's restaurant. He asks if she's hungry as he's been cooking for hours, and he's made a very special lunch. They sit down to a meal, and Sonny says he's sorry about her house. Anna admits it's hitting her harder than she thought it would. The stuff inside was just things, and she has to remind herself nobody was hurt. Sonny says it was still her home, where she felt safe, and someone destroyed that. Anna cries whoever is trying to ruin her life is doing a good job. Sonny asks if there is any progress on finding out who targeted her. She says she was with Dante this morning discussing it, but they have nothing. Sonny has been asking around about the shooting and wonders if there is a connection between the fire and the shooting. Anna doesn't know. She doesn't know if she's the target, or they both are. He offers her protection, but turns him down just as she turned down Don's offer. Anna says she enjoys her privacy. Sonny just wants her to know he's available and has any resources to help her. Anna knows, but also knows he has challenges of his own. He says he's handling that. At Ava's gallery, she hears someone come in and she grabs a hole puncher for defense. Trina arrives and they both scare one another. Trina didn't expect her in today and asks how Avery is doing. Confused, Ava asks if something happened. Trina says the new nanny told Joss that Avery was sick. Eva ponders out loud that they made a mistake letting Pilar go, and she wants to give her another chance. Ava says enough about that and asks how Trina's summer is going, and how Spencer is. Trina doesn't know and suggests she ask Esme. Trina says she doesn't blame Spencer, and she knows he can't take his eyes off Esme. Spencer arrives and listens in as Trina says she knows family stands by one another, and that's what Spencer is doing with his little brother. When Spencer enters, Ava gives them space and heads out. He asks Trina about the new exhibit, but she thinks they have better things to discuss, and they kiss. After the kiss, they open up to one another, and Trina admits she doesn't know how to support her mom or Curtis right now. Spencer says this is one battle her mom will have to fight on her own, and she will make sure Curtis gets the best care he needs. Spencer says all she can do is stand by her parents as family does. Trina asks about his family, and if when Laura and Kevin get back, if he'll still live there with Esma. Ava drops by Sunny's restaurant, and Anna is gone by then. She asks if he's closer to finding out who Mason's boss is. He says he's working on it and asks if he's doing her part. Ava says Austin assured her that Mason believes they have everything they need from Betty. Sunny warns her Mason and this boss won't just hand her back Nicholas' body, as it's the only leverage they have. Ava admits sometimes she doesn't know if Austin is sincere or manipulating her. He seemed to really want to help her the night Nicholas died. Sunny reminds her they still won't get Nicholas' body back until they know who the boss is. Ava asks when they find out who it is, what will he do? Sunny says he'll deal with them. Ms. Wu runs into Marshall at the Metro Court pool. He's waiting to meet Stella. She brings up her offer to purchase the Savoy again. He says the Savoy is not for sale, but Ms. Wu feels he needs to face reality. He either sells the club to her, or the Savoy will go under. He asks if she is saying she's going to run the club out of business. She explains Curtis has the connections to run the club, but he doesn't. Marshall says he knows about Ms. Wu's illegal games, which are done, and she's no longer welcome in the club. He gloats she has nothing she can hold over him. She warns him everyone has something that can be used against them. Meanwhile, Anna meets with Jordan. Jordan asks if she wants to grab lunch, but Anna says she just had lunch with Sunny. Jordan notes she and Sunny have been chummy. Anna says without a badge, conflicts of interest don't exist for her now. Jordan lets Anna know as deputy mayor, she's keeping an eye on her case. Anna thanks her but finds it odd there are no leads. Jordan asks if the fire and shooting here could be connected. Anna has no evidence, but she doesn't believe they are connected. Jordan just wishes they had a lead on the shooting, as it would help Curtis to know who left him paralyzed. Over at the marshal's table, he says Ms. Wu can threaten him all she wants. He has nothing left to lose, and he will do whatever it takes to protect his son and the Savoy. He says this conversation is over, so goodbye. Ms. Wu walks off. Stella arrives and apologizes to keep Marshall waiting. However, she thinks she recruited some help for her department at GH. Stella believes she changed someone's life today. Ladies arrives at the pool and runs into Ms. Wu. Ms. Wu asks if she has her next payment. Gladys explains there is a hold on Sasha's stock, but she's handling it. Ms. Wu doesn't want excuses, she wants her money. Pleiades reminds her she's always made her payments, and she just needs more time. Ms. Wu says she has no time left, as she is closing down the games and needs payment in full soon. Back at the hospital, Felicia fills out a job application to be a patient advocate. In Pentonville, Carly tells Drew after Austin walks by them that something about him rubs her the wrong way. She doesn't want to worry about Austin anymore and again fears Drew has angered Cyrus' enemies. Carly feels rather than focus on keeping him safe, they work to get him out of there. She thinks there has to be a way to get his sentence overturned, seeing the judge dismissed the original plea deal. She's hiring Diane, and they will do whatever it takes to get him out. Drew agrees to let Diane try but doesn't want Carly to get her hopes up. Dex arrives and meets with Book. Dex explains he works for Sunny, who has a message for him. He tells him that Sunny wants Drew Kane left alone, and that Book is not to look at him or approach him. Book explains he wasn't going after Drew but Cyrus. Dex says Sunny doesn't want excuses, so even if Drew spends all day with Cyrus, he goes nowhere near Drew. Book says he understands, but notes Drew is pretty good at taking care of himself. Dex says he'll continue to check on him from time to time. In the infirmary, Cyrus is glad to see Austin. Austin tells Mr. Renault they should just get this over with. Austin checks him over and says he's a lucky man to have had Drew around when he had his heart attack. Cyrus believes God put Drew in his path that day. Austin says he's more a fan of science and gives him some statins to take daily. Cyrus asks, "That's it? No lollipop?" Cyrus opens the bottle and under the cap is an SD card. Austin says he's done cleaning up his messes and Mason's messes, and he has paid off his debt and wants out. Austin was hoping Cyrus would be open to discussion about this because they go way back. He knows when he showed up at the house when he was a kid, it was like Christmas, and the only time his mom would stop crying. He is grateful for that, and for paying for his education, but he's done enough in return. He says he doesn't belong in this world he and Mason roped him into, and Cyrus has exploited and used him to do things he never thought he could do. He can't believe he told Ava that her husband was dead, when in fact he wasn't, and it was he who saved his life. He says he's done, he's out. Cyrus says nothing. Austin asks, "That's it?" Cyrus responds, "Go in peace." Austin asks what he's going to do with this information, and Cyrus says, "What I should have been doing all along, God's work." Austin walks out of the infirmary and through the visitors' center. Both Dex and Carly take note of him and then look at one another.